Welcome to the Church of Thomas. These are readings from Awakenings in an Age of Angels. This chapter is called Agriculture Angels. When the first people sought after food, they followed the same patterns as their cousin species, who were not conscious of the one. They fished for termites, they raided other animals' food storage places. Sometimes this was nuts and sometimes it was an animal carcass in a tree. They used simple tools to poke for tubers and roots just below the earth's surface. They followed the pattern of the seasons. The seasons brought in turn diverse ripening fruit and birds lay eggs. There were hunts where an animal was chased into a trap. These traps might be a natural hole, a drop-off, or a waiting arm of a tribe mate. These people knew angels from the one, as they could understand the concept. One day an angel dug a hole. She broke off a piece of root that she had been eating. She put the root piece in the hole and covered it with soil. She repeated this act a dozen times in a circle. When she made a pile of stones in the middle of the circle of newly covered roots. Some hungry tribe members tried to go behind her to dig up the root pieces she had buried. She chased them away. Then she did the first ritual that would start humans down the path to formal religion and agriculture. She peed on each patch where the root was buried. Then she sang a song. In the song she warned them not to eat this food. With her pee she had fertilized and watered the roots. She also warned off scavengers that may have dug them up a little later after the tribe had left. Now they smelled like a predator. The song also told about a location of rare food that now grew in abundance. The rock pile was unusual in the surrounding area. This made the circle garden easier to find, again, in the future. The next year, when the tribe came back to the area, she started to sing the same song. She started singing before anyone noticed the telltale, broad leaves of their favorite roots. She had been looking for the rock pile. When the tribe saw a dozen root plants instead of only one or two, they rejoiced. The angel taught them the song, not letting them dig up the roots until they could sing it without her help. That accomplished, she dug up the roots, saving two of the best roots to the side. She and her mate distributed the other roots evenly and fairly among the tribe members. For one day, everyone had enough food and all the playtime they wanted. She pulled the oldest female to the side. This was the one with the longest and best memory in the tribe. This elder was given one of the two roots. The elder thought it was a gift. She prepared it to be eaten, but the angel's hand shot out and took it back. The angel then broke it into 12 pieces. She sang the ritual from the planting the preceding year. When she was done planting another garden, she picked up one stone. She placed it on top of the old rock pile. She sang the song again, then handed the second root back to the elder. The angel motioned to a new spot that looked good for this kind of root. The elder seemed to get the idea at this point. She dug holes. She placed the root pieces. She covered the holes. The angels helped her gather stones for the pile as they both sang the song. It took a little encouragement, but finally the elder peed on the disturbed soil. Together the song was lifting through the air to mark the new spot. The song now spoke of two gardens. The next day the tribe moved on to a new food source that was next in the seasonal circuit. Over time, the angel and her twin started gardens all along the path of the year's trek. The songs were very descriptive. They described the garden's location, the kind of food that was planted there, the seasons that would be where it would be ripe, and by the time there was a great variety of plants. A few new variations were added each year. When the angels had many gardens set up, they chose children that would be trained to carry on. The elders had been the bridge in the beginning. It was time for the first priests and priestesses. This knowledge needed to be understood by a broad base in case death from accident or illness happened to the elders. The angels singled out the kids who always seemed to be awake and alert to the new songs. They tested these kids. The angels watched to see if the kids took advantage of the others. The lessons were held at the gardens. If a child took more than their share from the pile, being so close to the garden, those with greed on their minds were pushed out. The cream of the crop of students was allowed to stay. It was obvious that they were there for the joy of learning the songs and not out of greed. The last test was for altruism. This often showed up when the garden was less than expected. The best also defended underlings in the tribe, making sure that everyone got their share. The act might be as simple as a kid giving all or part of their food share to one who was sick. Another one might be alert for fairness. This might manifest when a bully taking a root from someone weaker was stopped, and then the food returned to the weaker member. The one was pleased. The kids grew in health and wisdom. Every ritual location and song was taught to the elders and the new teachers. One year there was not enough food. It had been very dry. Many of the gardens were stunted and did not produce at all. The angels started to refuse their share of the food. They gave their shares to one of the children in the tribe. The foraging took much longer, but the elders remembered unused places where food might still be found. These sources and the poor gardens were almost enough combined. The angels died in the spring, within a couple of days of each other. They died at one of the original garden sites. It was one of the few that year that had a good harvest, but it was too late. The new priests added a new song to the garden. The new verse told about the angels. It told why they had died. It told of the love that the tribe felt for the angels and the one.